People with families on death row, what shocking thing did you see during their final moments? When people ask me that question, they always expect something dramatic, something loud, something straight out of a movie. But the truth is, the most shocking moment I ever saw was completely quiet. It happened on the day my older brother Mateo was executed. And even though I thought I was ready, nothing in my life prepared me for the way he looked at me through that small window, smiling like he was the one comforting me. I remember walking through the cold hallway, the kind that smells like bleach and metal, and the guard kept telling me, "You don't have to watch if you don't want to." But I did. Mateo asked me to. He said he didn't want to die without seeing someone who loved him there. I grew up thinking my brother was invincible. He was the kid who jumped off the roof with a bedsheet because he believed in physics. He was the one who drove 3 hours at midnight to pick me up from a party I lied about. But when he was 22, he fell in with people who didn't care if he lived or died. And one terrible night, everything changed. I visited him every month for 8 years, and every time he told me the same thing. Don't remember me for the worst night of my life. I tried. God knows I tried. But grief has a way of replaying the mistakes louder than the memories you want to keep. The final moment started with a sound I will never forget, the click of the intercom turning on. Mateo was strapped down, but he kept his eyes locked on mine. No blinking, no fear, just this calm that didn't make sense. The warden asked if he had last words, and he said, "Yeah, tell my sister I'm sorry I made her grow up fast." Everyone in the room looked at me, but I couldn't move. I couldn't even breathe. He wasn't supposed to talk about me. I prepared myself for anger, tears, maybe a final confession. I didn't prepare myself for love. When the drug started moving through the IV, something bizarre happened. Mateo laughed, a real laugh, that same stupid, breathy laugh he used to make when we watched funny dog videos at 2 a.m. The officers froze, the witnesses looked confused, and he mouthed something slowly, like he wanted to make sure I understood. 3 simple words, "Let me go." But there was more. Right before his eyes began to slow, he lifted his fingers as much as the straps allowed and tapped twice on the metal armrest. It was small, almost nothing, but I knew exactly what it meant. When we were kids, 2 taps meant, "I'm okay." We invented it on a night when the power went out and I was terrified of the dark. He sat beside me, tapping the floor rhythmically so I'd know I wasn't alone. And now, decades later, with seconds left in his life, he used the same signal, not to reassure himself, but to reassure me. That broke me more than anything else that happened that day. The heart monitor slowed. The room faded into this strange stillness, and I realized that death didn't come like a dramatic movie scene. It came quietly, like he was finally exhaling after years of holding his breath. The guard touched my shoulder and whispered, "It's over," but it didn't feel over. It felt like someone pressed pause on the world and forgot to hit play again. Afterward, when they let me see him one last time, I touched his hand, expecting it to be cold, but it was still warm, like he was just sleeping. That warmth haunted me more than anything, because it made me wonder how a life could end while the body still felt alive. It made me realize how unfair time is, how it stops for the living long before it stops for the dying. I left the prison with his final message echoing in my mind. Not the official last words spoken into a microphone, but the quiet ones, the ones only I could understand. 2 taps. I'm okay, and somehow that hurt more than goodbye.